And Sonke Gender Justice are expected to march against the signing into law of the Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Bill. They will also protest the passing into law of the Traditional Courts Bill. The organizations argue that the bills are unconstitutional as they will effectively bring back apartheid homelands by subjecting people to different laws in different parts of the country. Our reporter, Ofentse Setimo, is covering the march and he joins us live. A very good afternoon to you, Ofentse. Take us through what's happening where you are.
Well, thank you very much. We basically marched from Church Square this morning to the Union buildings with the Sonke Gender Justice and the Rural Coalition for Democracy. Basically, they are against the two bills that are on President Cyril Ramaphosa's desk. They are urging him not to approve the two bills. The one is the Traditional Khoi-San Leadership Bill, and the other one is the Traditional Courts Bill. And joining me now is Langa, who's actually going to elaborate why he's against these bills being passed on. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Aubrey. If you can just elaborate on why you don't want these bills to be passed by the president.
It is because it is directly affected us as members of the traditional communities. I am coming from Mokopane, in which there is a mine there that the president is having a shareholding in that mine. He used to be the director of this mine. Is called Ofentse. When the mine concluded a surface lease agreement with the chief, and the chief only without the community, there was no tribal resolution that was taken. Subsequently, that agreement was set aside by the Department of Mineral Resources as unlawful, and therefore the president is now, if the president were to proceed signing these bills into law, he will effectively empowering that agreement that was set aside.
What is it that you would want the president to do?
The president must not sign this law, this bill into law, and as well as making sure that there is an alignment between this law and another law called Interim Protection of Informal Land Rights Act, which is these powers that they are now giving to the traditional authorities or leaders is in conflict with that law. So really it is unconstitutional because this law is directly derived from Section 25 of the Constitution. So therefore it will be unconstitutional for the president to sign this into law.
And the organizers are saying the two bills will actually make the country revert back to apartheid days. How do you feel about that?
Of course, if you don't agree to it, the traditional leaders are promising to evict us from the area because we are not given an option not to say no to any law that to these laws. So when, for example, if you don't want to be subjected to the courts that they are now wants to authorize or to make into law, then you must move out of the area of that traditional leader because you don't have any options to say no to it. So therefore it is taking us back into apartheid.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was Aubrey Langa, one of the participants at today's march, actually saying that, if the Traditional Courts Bill is passed, in order for them not to be part of that bill, they would have to move out of the area where they were born in. Joining me is one of the organizers, actually. Ma'am, if you can just elaborate on why you decided to partake in today's march.
Yeah, we decided to partake into this march because we are panicking about the two bills, which is the Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Bill and the Traditional Courts Bill, which are sitting in the president's office and it's waiting for him to sign them into law. So we came here with the hope that the president can listen to us as we are pledging and pleading with him not to sign those bills into law, because if those bills become law, it means as rural people we will be trapped in the former Bantu stance. We will be subjected to the rule of law by the traditional leaders. We will be treated as secondary citizens, and most important, the rural women, we know our customary practices don't recognize women in their courts of law, and this traditional courts bill will marginalize them further. And of our fear, most of of our fear is that our land is going to be expropriated without compensation, because Section 24 of the Traditional and Khoi-San Leadership Bill allows the minister to appoint or withdraw the traditional leader, and it gives the traditional leader, who is appointed by the minister and the president, to make deals with third parties without prior consent and consultation of abahlali and people who are living in the land, so, and the land rights owners. So that is why we are here today. We are very much disappointed that the president will respect cause and elites, but when the rural people of South Africa comes, he will expect them to be represented by the traditional leaders. Just because it's not the traditional leaders who came, he chose to cancel the meeting of the advisory panel, which was supposed to be here today, which was convenient for him to be here, receive the report of the advisory panel on land reform that he himself appointed, and also meet us and get to know us. But that is what he did. He cancelled the meeting. We gave letters to the president a month ago, because even this march was postponed with respect to the elections. It was supposed to be on the 29th of April. We postponed it so that we give him a chance to be inaugurated, but yet he is not here.
Thank you very much. That was some of the organizers actually reiterating the fact that the two bills will actually make life difficult, especially for the rural communities. And with that, it's back to studio.
Ofentse Setimo giving us an update of that march in Pretoria.